Hello there and welcome to an English class. Today we're gonna know more about the future perfect progressive or the future perfect continuous tense. I know it seems a little bit complicated and confusing, but trust me, it's not. So let's begin. Now we will begin with the form. We will put the subject and then we'll put will have been, and then we will put the verb plus ing, and then we will put the object or the rest of the sentence. And here I want you to notice something, that have is not changed into has according to the singular subject. For example, by 3 o'clock she will have been working on this project for 5 hours. Please notice here that we didn't replace have by has because of the subject she. So whatever the subject is, whether it's singular or plural, we don't put has instead of have. And now let's move to the meaning of this sentence. We have a certain point of time which is by 3 o'clock and it's in future. And then we focus on the going on or continuing action for a long period of time, which has been working for 5 hours. So now we know that this tense is describing an action that began and will continue up to a certain point of time in the future, and at that time it will be finished. So now let's take another example in order to understand clearly. By 9 o'clock, I'll have been studying French for 8 hours. Here we have a certain point of time in the future, which is by 9 o'clock. And also we have the words been studying and for 8 hours, which means that the action began and will continue up to a certain point of time in the future, which is 9 o'clock. So now let's move to the usage or the uses of the future perfect continuous tense. So it's used to describe an action or event that will keep going on until a certain point of time or another event in the future. As we said before, you will find in the sentence a certain point of time in the future, and you will find that there's an action that began and will continue up to this certain point of the future, and then it will be finished. So let's take 2 examples. By 2024, I'll have been living in London for 6 years. Let's take another example. By the end of this year, I'll have been teaching English for 3 years. Let's notice by 2024 and by the end of this year, they are a point of time in the future, and the verbs living or been living for 6 years and been teaching for 3 years, those are actions that began and will continue up till the certain point of future that is declared in the sentence at the beginning, which is by 2024 or by the end of this year. So I hope you understood the usage of the tense, and now let's move to the question form. So we will put will plus the subject plus have been plus the verb plus ing, and then we will put the rest of the question, and then we'll put the question mark. For example, will she have been teaching English for 3 years by the end of this year? And in negative questions, we will put will plus the subject plus not plus have been plus the verb plus ing, and then we will put the rest of the question, and then we'll put the question mark at the end of this question. So let's take an example. Will he not or won't he have been working for this company for 5 years by tomorrow morning? So let's notice here that will he not equals to won't he. And for the WH questions, we will put the question word at the beginning, and then we'll put will plus the subject plus have been plus the verb plus ing, and then we will put the question mark at the end. So let's take an example. By when will they have been traveling around Europe for a year? By when will they have been traveling around Europe for a year? And now let's move to the negative form, and it's super duper easy. So we will put the subject plus will not or won't plus have plus been plus the verb plus ing. And we'll continue the rest of the sentence. For example, they won't have been waiting him for 2 hours by 9 o'clock. They won't have been waiting him for 2 hours by 9 o'clock. Of course, at the beginning, if it's a yes or no question, at the beginning we'll put the word no, okay? But this is a negative sentence, so we didn't put no. So we reached the end of our lesson for today. I hope you enjoyed the lesson. See you next time in a new video and a new lesson. Goodbye!